Okay. The world according to a feminist. All those, look at those women, and then there's the guy, the homeless guy, privileged. Oh, okay, all right, that's.
But you have to understand, though, that all of the systems are set up for him.
Yeah, apparently.
They are, and the fact that he
next.
failed is incredible.
Oh my God, that's.
I guess, okay,
If it worked like that.
so
No notes.
Well, hold on. First off, there's affirmative action for women, so.
that's a system that benefits
that's a
women.
Thank God.
What system helps men? It's not clear to me. Here, pull up.
Yeah.
There's more. There's more, Nick.
The Constitution.
White male privilege.
The Constitution.
Whoa. Let's be careful there.
All right.
What in the Constitution benefits white men
All men
specifically?
are created equal.
Does that not include
What
black
do you guys
men?
think about this? This is
At the time, it's not.
D-Day.
At the time,
D-Day
the
landing.
five-fifths thing was.
Is anybody noticing?
That's not.
also-
That's not
were
in the
were
Constitution.
3/4 of men, and black men became
Okay,
men
Anybody
later
noticing
on.
the
If you want to talk
Time-
about
at
the
the time,
intent,
it also didn't
Okay,
include
we'll come
white
back to
men.
it, Nick. We'll
It
come
included some white men. That's it.
so if we
Didn't
talk
include
about
all
the
of them.
intent of the founding fathers, the intent, and you can go to Thomas Jefferson's letters to specific individuals talking about how he wanted to make the language in the Constitution more broad to include literally every single person.
Well, he was an abolitionist.
Yeah, and so exactly, he was an abolitionist. He hated slavery, and he actively tried to release all of his slaves, but was legally not allowed to do so until he died, in which he did. So there is this like pervasive verbiage in usually the left side of the political spectrum that likes to paint the founding fathers as extremely racist and writing the Constitution as something to oppress minorities and oppress specific gender, so women, which is not the case. You have them with the intent to release those people of those systemic oppressions that they experienced in other countries. So, like in England, I mean, religious oppression, the slave trade, all of those things, they wrote the verbiage in the Constitution so that eventually we would get to a point where we're sitting here today where people would be able to read that verbiage and see all men are created equal. And we can sit here and know
Thank you,
that
Kate.
they meant all men are created equal.
There's some more photos. You didn't even see that second photo. Nick, if you can pull up the photo. Thank you, Kate, for the 10 memberships. White, we often hear male privilege, white privilege. You know what? I think every feminist should watch All Quiet on the Western Front and then decide if there's male privilege. Wait, there's more photos. We got more photos. That was the D-Day landing. That was, I don't know if that's...
I mean,
okay,
to be fair to that one, there was a lot of black men who fought in World War II.
Absolutely.
That is true. That's, I'm not trying. I just yes, there were. There was the Harlem Hellfighters in World War I, and yeah. Nick, pull up the please. There's this chat here. I'll just read. They have done the studies on the DNA test. Wait, no. Okay, never. Just pull up the photo. I'll read it later. The world, according to a feminist, oppressed, privileged.
Yeah, that's also
Thoughts?
true. There's actually a lot of truth in
the
that.
theme
man.
of these photos is just the
There's so much.
there's just the complete
What's that?
like degradation of nuance. They just lack nuance in its entirety because the whole aspect of like oppression versus privilege. When you speak about privilege, people like to hyper focus on the standard definition of privilege being about like how much money you have, like how much access you have to resources, things like that. Wherein privilege, much like much of the English language, is a word that can have multiple meanings. And in this context, privilege is more about the societal, systematic aspect, which is a generality and not down to the individual. And these are focusing on like the individual stereotypes and archetypes.
So
Well,
you're
I think
calling it
so it's
an ecological fallacy.
So everyone started talking at once.
Yeah.
But
Are you basically calling it an ecological fallacy?
I don't want to say yes because I'm not sure what that means. Can you clarify?
When you take the individual and then you attribute it to the general populace?
Okay, well then
Yeah.
I would say yes. I'm just not familiar with the term.
Are you talking about apex fallacy?
No, it's the ecological.
Ecological?
ecological.
You mean logical?
Ecological. It's the
I've not
ecological
heard that
fallacy.
one. Okay.
Where,
Oh,
like-
okay, I can see
yeah,
how the word
it's-
derives.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense to me.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds right.
Well,
but I
here,
just-
pull up the last photo, and then we got the last one. I think there's one more. We got one more. Scroll up, make it bigger. Yep. So I don't know.
A lot of truth in that one too.
Stop oppressing me.
Sorry.
You know, male privilege.
And even
I
apologizing
don't
for
think
something
so.
he didn't do wrong.
Because class privilege and oppression is not about race,
Well,
but
no,
they
the
all are
point-
factors within each other.
The point isn't that he's at work. The point is the kind of work he's doing. The kind of work he's doing is not the kind of work that women do pretty much ever, anywhere, at any time, for any reason. That's the privilege. So the privilege is, are you systematically oppressed while your sewers are taken care of for you, while you have air conditioning, while you live in modernity and all modern technology, and every dangerous fucking job on planet Earth is done by men? Is that oppressive?
Having a baby is a pretty dangerous job.
No, it's not. It's a very safe job.
How are you going to say that?
Because I can look at infant mortality rates and from pregnant women, and the mortality rates of the mothers. A very safe job. Very, very safe for women to have
respecting
children.
the differences is okay. Like, you're doing that, that's your job, and then we've got our own job. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, you do. You have a job, but you demand to have also egalitarianism inside society between the sexes. And the thing is like, your job is clearly far less valuable than our job, because without us maintaining the entirety of the infrastructure for which women's pampered asses can even exist inside of society, they would collapse. And how do I know this? Because I have 2,200 years of history to look at, to watch the progression of them literally folding like cheap chairs and being passed between enemy armies like it was nothing. They were literally chattel if we decided that they were, and instead we have massive amounts of technological advancements which have allowed for women to even exist in modernity, and instead of being praised for it, men are treated like absolute garbage
Well,
for
I think
doing
you guys
it.
are great.
Brian, you should have
Thanks
brought
for
up my
doing
video that I
everything.
had responding to this.
Wait,
I had a video. I posted a video with when it asked a woman was asked who did she think was better, or who was stronger, or what were women better at than men, and she said everything. And I responded to that.
Wait, was it on the show?
No, I posted. I had
Where's
response.
it? Is it on your Instagram or TikTok?
Yeah, it's like a 1 minute reaction.
Is it pretty? We can pull it up.
I can send it.
Yeah.
Women are better than men at
Everything.
Lower the.
Everything. Guys are super.
Now, I'm not going to respond to this all crazy, but what we are going to do is create a scenario. Let's say
scroll
that
up
everything
just a tad
that a
bit.
male human has ever discovered, built,
Nick, scroll up
constructed,
just a little bit.
thought of, innovated, renovated, created, gone, obliterated, instantaneously, everywhere on the
like
face
where
of the
this is
planet.
going.
Technological advancements, transportation, the power grid, infrastructure, STEM, medicine, all of it. Gone, eradicated. Not to mention law and order and protection. I'm talking dog breeds, Newton's laws of motion and energy, hell, the Pythagorean theorem. Gone. Even the animals, including the predators that Ben drove to extinction, reintroduced. And now women have to reconstruct society from the ground up without the aid of a man or anything that a man invented. That includes instructions as well. And women have to accomplish this either pregnant or menstruating. Men are incapable of doing anything to help. Now, what becomes of society and humanity within just 1 year?
Okay. Also, we had a chat here that came in from Theo Tokos. Thank you, man. Lumber workers have 10x higher death rates than mothers. Everything is a lie. Q, did you want to add anything to the video or?
No, it was all laid out right there.
Okay.
So this is a thought experiment, and it's an excellent thought experiment. And so I've made similar thought experiments as well, and so have thousands of other people who's just kind of saying, you had a wand and all the men were gone tomorrow for whatever reason. How could society maintain itself absent men? And when you really start to break down the thought experiment, you start to dive into all the jobs that they do, everything that they're into, the distinctions in just skill-based, not to mention the physiological differences, like the fact that women really can't do a lot of the men's jobs. That's one of the big things that is a big lie, too. Women really can't. They're not even physiologically equipped to be outside for long periods of time doing things like roofing, asphalt laying. Their body can't even regulate temperature the same way. So what happens is society, after 1 year, to answer to your thought experiment, is completely destroyed, and 99% of the life on it is gone with it. That's what I think. Or human life. I think animal life flourishes.
Oh, yeah,
It's got plenty to eat now. It's got
That's
plenty
why I
to
said
eat.
the predators that we drove to extinction reintroduced. Yep.
Farah, you got I thought you had thoughts on this topic.
I said you could be sexist towards men.
Oh, what? That okay.
Yeah.
No, but what Andrew just said. Like,
I guess I would hesitate to put too much emphasis.
You dunked on me. You did a little clip on me, like, because I was like, I said, oh yeah, shit would hit the fan if all men disappeared.
He gets so mad at me because
I'm not mad
my
at you.
commenters call him stupid.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad. I'm just reeling you into the conversation.
Now that you've had 6 months to digest our argument, you want to bring it back up?
What?
Wasn't that 6 months ago?
How's that relevant at all?
I don't know why it's fresh on your mind.
What are you talking? We're literally talking about the topic at hand.
It just seems kind of fresh.
Yes, I'm deeply triggered by.
He's been like seething for 6 months, waiting.
It's just like you have a show 3 times a week with 10 new people, and it just seemed like, I don't know, elephant's memory.
It came up like a great compliment that he remembers it even after doing shows where there's 10 people.
I'm just teasing him, but yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I think like men are generally undervalued, and I think feminists do kind of absorb and regurgitate a lot of buzzwords without understanding like where those arguments actually came from in feminist literature. I would hesitate to put too much emphasis in male brawns because the labor force, you know what I mean, is shifting towards valuing brains over brawns, and I think that's why
that's a destiny argument.
I didn't get it from him.
Yeah, but he's wrong.
I didn't
and
get it from him.
And just like you're wrong about it, it's actually not. The fact of the matter is we're not really able to replace brawn very well at all. For instance, where's all of our robotic roofers? You ever seen one?
I'm sure we'll get there soon.
Oh, wait, really? How? How do you think that you're going to get robot roofers to go to people's individual houses and patch roofs?
I don't know, we have like military robots now. I wasn't even disputing your point that men should be valued more. I was more so just saying that like I think the reason men are struggling partly is because they're feeling like a sense of cultural redundancy because a lot of the labor market is focusing on brains over brawns and women are out graduating men.
What actually happened was that women were told to go to college. College was highly overvalued, and now as everybody can do it, the market is becoming inundated because it's tailored to the lowest common denominator, meaning if you lower the standards so that everybody can do it, right? The standards necessarily become lower to accommodate the most amount of people. So more and more people got a college degree. The market's completely saturated with it, but it wasn't before. So women accelerated. But you'll see that gap, it's closing, and it's closing quickly. And you see the gap in pay with trades between even STEM fields. That's closing quickly too. It's going to continue to close because we can't actually get rid of the big thing, which is the brawn. The thing women can't bring to the table, which is they can't do road work, they can't do roofing, they can't do any of the really intrinsic or hard bronze-based labor.
But don't you think a lot of those jobs have diminished over time because now things are getting built and they're like architecture is sustaining for a long time? So I feel like those jobs are becoming smaller.
Top 2 jobs that you would say for men that you would want immigrants to come in and do. What do you think?
Wait, I don't understand.
What do you think that male immigrants, when they come in, right, for work, you would want more of them to come in and work and expand the economy. What would you say the male immigrants usually do?
Usually do? I genuinely don't know.
What would you think? You're in California, and there's kind of something
What's
really
the general
famous.
stereotype?
Yeah, the general stereotype of what immigrants who come in from south of the border are doing is what?
Dishwashing?
No.
Something paid under the table.
They work in farms. They literally work on farms. It's like the most famous thing in California ever is that they work. It's everywhere.
But even that number is going down. Like, it used to be 90% of Americans are farmers. And my point is, like, now it's shrinking. It's my point.
Yeah. But my point to you back is that it's an ever-expanding field, a necessary ever-expanding field because people need to eat.
Wait,
and
expanding?
Yes, because the amount of people that are necessary to feed the amount of people necessarily grows. So it's expanding. Now, with the birth rate contraction, we might have problems with that later, and we will. But what I'm saying is that with that expansion of people comes the expansion of necessity of houses and all those other things that grow the GDP that progressives like you and Destiny would love to have happen so much, which means that, no, you're going to have to actually expand the brawn, and that's what you're going to see. His projection, totally wrong. And that projection there of eliminating the brawn or moving away from brawn, that's not true. We're moving towards it again. There was a limited market saturation. Now that's changing again.
I genuinely have not heard him say that. Like, I do my own research and reading. But
come on, Farah.
I genuinely
Come
don't.
on, Farah. I'm kidding. I'm joking. That was a funny joke.
No, I just feel like I always have to wipe his piss off of me because I feel like people think because we're friends that I like absorb his arguments. But like, We do not co-sign on each other's arguments
All right.
whatsoever.
Well, that's a destiny argument, just so you know.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you got it from him. I'm just saying it's something I hear him regurgitate when he's arguing.
I mean, we probably read some of the same stuff, but yeah, like I said, I wasn't trying to undervalue the necessity for like bronze and like manual labor. I was more so saying that like I think just treating the value of masculinity as just being synonymous with bronze, I feel like is just only responding to like a very marginal percent of like what men are doing is my point, because that's going down.
Yeah, we're not really associating masculinity with brawn as much as talking about the necessity of brawn in society.